This is The Great Expanse by John Bab 426 here on YouTube. What else would it be? So glad to be able to come before you guys with new videos. I love recording them. I love editing them. I love putting my unique spin on them. I'm sorry, I was ghosting a little bit. Am I still ghosting? Now, if you've seen, what is it? Chinese Connection, you'll understand why I do that whenever it starts to ghost, because that's what Bruce Lee was doing to the guy. I think it was Robert Shaw. Is that his name? And the bull was like so beat up and so punch drunk that when Bruce Lee was doing this, it looked like there was more than one of them. So that's what I'm doing when I do this. So, the more you know. But anyway, if you've liked the videos that you've seen thus far, hit the like button. If not, hit the dislike button. Share these videos with other people that you know that like comic book related stuff as much as you do. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell for notifications. Which one? All. Not personalized on the one underneath, but all. So the next time a new video is dropped, you'll know about it second. I know about it first. And I am the one. Breath. Champ. Yes. So we are in the days following the conclusion of the SAG WGA strike. Applause. Okay? Now, do I know what all is entailed in the conclusion of the strike? Absolutely not. But this article, it talks about James Gunn's reboot canon. Not that kind of canon. And the website is The Direct. And the author is Klein Felt. I believe we've done articles by Klein Felt before, okay? But James Gunn confirms new details about DC's reboot canon. So let's get right into it, okay? DC Studios boss James Gunn treated fans with more information about the canon of his DCU reboot. While it has been clear from the get-go, Gunn and his DC Studios co-CEO Peter Safran were coming in to reinvigorate DC's on-screen efforts. What that has meant for the last decade and change of DCEU films remains murky. For as many reports of a complete reboot coming to the superpowered franchise, there have also been mentions of some elements from the current canon coming along and being translated over. I don't like that idea. My thing is this: if you're going to do a reboot, get rid of everything. And I know that sounds harsh to say get rid, because we're talking about people here, you know what I mean? Sorry, I just had to turn a notification off on the tablet so it wouldn't go beep. But anyway, my thing is, do a complete reboot. Start from scratch. You know what I mean? And I believe James Gunn said something about there being Elseworld materials. He said that Matt Reeves, the Batman, Todd Phillips' Joker would be expressly labeled as Elseworlds. So technically, maybe you could do something from the DCEU that really sticks, like Aquaman. If this new Aquaman movie does $1 billion, I think it would be really, and it's so ambiguous. Like, it's really a slippery slope about what I'm about to say. But if Aquaman's sequel can do $1 billion or in that neighborhood, it would be bad business to get rid of Jason Momoa, to get rid of Patrick Wilson, and Yahya Abdul-Mateen. You can always recast Mera. Like, you gotta keep that story together. Like, and again, it sounds hypocritical coming from me, because my thing was, hey, I just said it. I just hypocrisized myself. Because I said get rid of everything. But if Aquaman does big business, it is not wise to turn down a multi-billion-dollar franchise if the sequel does $1 billion like the original one did, which did $1.14 billion. It will be bad business. So again, it's they said murky for this. That's very murky. Who turns down $1 billion franchise in this climate? Anyway, and again, maybe that's making me look like a hypocrite, but I'm only human. Cholo Maridueña, John Cena, and Gal Gadot are just a few of the names headlined by others who were seemingly set to make the move to the new DCU, despite coming from the past era of DC storytelling. Let me stop right there. I recently did a spoiler review for Blue Beetle. See? In case you didn't believe me, there it is. Okay? This movie was dumb. And no, this is not the Blue Beetle movie review right here. Cholo Maridueña looked great as Blue Beetle, but the way this character is written, the way this movie is written, the screenplay for this film was garbage. Utter and complete garbage. So I'm not excited about seeing the name Cholo Maridueña. John Cena, on the other hand, as Peacemaker, again, is one of those like bizarre stories that really works. And again, it's difficult to say these things. Because it's like, wait a minute, The Great Expanse, you just said reboot. I know I said these things, but it's tough. And it's not going to be an easy decision for James Gunn and Peter Safran, okay? James Gunn clears up canon confusion, okay? And there is a picture of the Creature Commandos. This looks like Frankenstein, the Weasel, and somebody else's arm. In a series of posts online, DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn cleared the air about the DCU canon and some of the actors potentially coming over from the nearly defunct DCEU. Replying to a fan, Gunn shared on his Threads account, "Nothing is canon until Creature Commandos next year. With the animated series serving as an aperitif to the DCU," I don't know what that word means, "before Superman Legacy's deeper dive into things in 2015. And here's the quote, the full quote. "Nothing is canon until Creature Commandos next year, a sort of aperitif to the DCU, and then a deeper dive into the universe with the Superman Legacy after that. It's a very human drive to want to understand everything all the time, but I think it's okay to be confused on what's happening in the DCU since no one has seen anything from the DCU yet." To me, the first line kind of settles everything. Nothing is canon until Creature Commandos next year. So that's saying, if he's saying nothing is canon, that means everything is canon. Do you understand what I'm saying? Nothing is canon. So that means we're like, oh yeah, we'll be seeing Jason Momoa. Oh yeah, we'll be seeing Gal Gadot. We'll be seeing all these people. When Creature Commandos hits, that can all go out the window. In other words, nothing is sticking. Absolutely, he's not married to anything until Creature Commandos. Does that make sense what I'm saying? I hope I'm not confusing anybody. He also addressed the idea of heroes like Blue Beetle's Jaime Reyes making the jump from the current DC canon into this new rebooted universe, spelling out that some actors will be playing characters they've played, but nothing is canon until CC and Legacy. So see how he's answering the question? So, he said some actors, we already know that so far, only Viola Davis and John Cena and crew, because he said that the Amanda Waller series will also be teaming up with the Peacemaker crew for her series, which comes after Creature Commandos. So those are the only actors that we know for sure that are going to make the transition from the DCEU into the DCU, okay? And yes, some actors will be playing characters they've played in other stories, and some plot points might be consistent with plot points from the dozens of films, shows, and animated projects that have come from DC in the past. But nothing is canon, and he keeps saying this, but nothing is canon until CC and Legacy. When prodded about whether audiences will have to watch anything prior to some of these returning characters' appearances in the DCU reboot, Gunn retorted, "They will not, no." And I like that. So James Gunn, right, with those 4 words, "they will not, no." You don't have to watch everything that the DCEU ever put out to understand or have an idea of where the new DCU is going. I appreciate that. Who is returning in the DCU reboot? Despite James Gunn giving fans a bit more information about how the canon is going to work in his reimagined DCU, there are still plenty of questions. The biggest of these queries is who exactly will be coming back to play their DCEU roles in the superpowered reboot. There are a few obvious names. In a separate post on Threads, Gunn confirmed Cholo Maridueña will continue playing Blue Beetle in the DCU, as Viola Davis will Amanda Waller and John Cena will Peacemaker. But he said nothing's canon until CC, Creature Commandos, and Legacy. So you can't take that as being gospel. This is in line with what the DC executive has said previously. Gunn announced a season 2 of Peacemaker. I don't think that was on the reboot. Season 2 of Peacemaker. The Waller TV show starring Viola Davis, and has even gone as far as calling Maridueña Teenage Hero the first DCU character. But it's not until CC and Legacy comes out will anything be canon. But one name that remains off this list is Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. The DCEU actress was recently quoted as saying she was told by James Gunn and Peter Safran they are going to develop a Wonder Woman 3 together. That does not mean she will play Wonder Woman. Okay? That would make one assume the Gadot will be coming back as well. Maybe things are too early on that project for Gunn to outright confirm the actress's return, or perhaps she will not be coming back at all. Gunn has been pretty good at keeping fans updated on these sorts of matters, so perhaps it is only a matter of time before the DC Studios boss chimes in on Godot specifically. The DCU is set to kick off in 2024 with the animated Creature Commando series on Max. And that is our article. And I think I kind of said all that I needed to say early on. If Aquaman, and there's no mention of Jason Momoa or Aquaman, okay? If Aquaman is a blockbuster, who gets rid of $1 billion franchise? Who does that? That would be terrible business. David Zaslav will probably have to personally intervene if Peter Gunn... I said Peter Gunn again, the rapper. If James Gunn and Peter Safran say goodbye, David Zaslav would have to go... I don't know how David Zaslav talks. Peter, James, let's hash this out. All right? We want to make money. That's the issue with DC right now. Well, Warner Brothers as a whole. As I said in the previous video, they are licensing out all the Batman movies off of Max to get revenue. Because Max is not doing well, the former HBO. Warner Brothers Discovery is losing money hand over fist. They're putting out garbage like Gotham Knights, which is trash. The concept is... Anyway... They are suffering right now. They are bleeding money. So to say that we cannot keep $1 billion franchise in Aquaman, and again, I say that it's contingent upon whether or not Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which is the sequel to Aquaman, makes nearly $1 billion, and it breaks the slump of the DC movies. As I said, Black Adam, I loved it. It was a great movie. Flopped at the box office. Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which I watched the first 7 minutes and turned it off for the sake of my sanity, flopped at the box office. The Flash, which was a fantastic movie, flopped at the box office, though it was a fantastic flick. Blue Beetle, dumb movie. Dumb. Flopped at the box office. If Aquaman breaks this cycle and comes close, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, the sequel, and comes close to $1 billion, they're going to have some long and intense talks about saving this franchise. And then James Gunn and Peter Safran can say, this will be Elseworlds. Problem solved. And there's still that part of me that's going, but everything needs to be rebooted. There's it's like scales. It's like, yes, we want to make money. We want Warner Brothers to thrive so that the DCU can thrive. So we want to keep Aquaman. I like the Aquaman franchise, okay? But at the same time, it's like the creative, the imaginative part of me wants to see a new cast of Aquaman. Because everything else is being redone, why would we leave Aquaman the same? And do we really want the Jason Momoa Aquaman and a new Aquaman cast at the same time? Coming from the same studios? It's a quagmire. I mean, a quandary, excuse me. It's a quandary. Quandary, a great word for the great expanse by John 426. But do you understand, like, where my dilemma is? Just in that simple statement I just made. Do we have a newly recast Aquaman crew and the money-making Aquaman crew with Jason Momoa, Patrick Wilson, and crew at the same time? Doesn't that sound dumb? And some people would just say, oh yeah, we'll just... But it doesn't make sense logically. You will confuse your audience if you're making two different... You know, understand what I'm saying? So this video went a little longer, and I apologize for that. But I'm really passionate about DC. I'm very passionate about Marvel. That's why sometimes, my voice is just going high, talking about what the MCU is doing, what Warner Brothers Discovery is doing, because I appreciate these materials. I appreciate these intellectual properties. I appreciate Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Green Arrow, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men. I love this stuff. This channel is dedicated to comic book related things because I've always loved comic books as a youngster. All right, so let's reel it in. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. Share the video with other people that would be interested in this kind of discourse. Please comment. Let me know what you think about the DCU canon and the sequel to Aquaman and the other points that I touched on. Leave a dissertation in the comment section if necessary. David Brent, please let them know where those comments or dissertations go, sir. That's where they go. Do your part, and I will do my part in The Great Expanse by John Bat 426. Canon will expand. It's in the name.